That's what I trended on Twitter for last week. Say we haven't spoken publicly in several days, and we were doing the experience that aired normally this past Saturday, as it was. We were doing that when we heard that I was getting the blame for Watergate and the guy jumping in the ring, and I trended on Twitter while we're peacefully doing our podcast. I guess people afterwards were like, "You were trending worldwide on Twitter." Without doing anything, saying anything, or actually being involved in any way in the incident that sparked people to talk about me. Has anyone else ever done this before? I mean, I said one time I could trend on Twitter for taking a shit, but this time I didn't even shit. It was somebody else's shit. They just gave me credit for it.
Of course, what you're referring to is there was a fan who jumped the rail at AEW Dynamite. We talked about that on the air and what a stupid guy he was. He attempted to attribute this act of stupidity to us, although I will say a lot of people have been, in the last few days especially, saying that the guy may be full of shit because apparently he's a Russo fan and apparently he's posted other things, and I don't know. That's the whole thing.
No, that's the whole thing, is he's an attention seeker. And so what he did was, apparently, he's some fat fuck that fantasizes that he's a professional wrestler and that he puts videos on the internet. He had been challenging Cody and Anthony Ogogo to meet him somewhere, or maybe on that day, because he knew he had tickets. I guess he didn't have the money to travel, so he had tickets because he lives around there. Meet me on such and such night, and he's cutting promos on them on the internet. And then he fucking, at the taping on live television, he doesn't jump in the ring on Cody. Ogogo's not there. He jumps up on the ring, or he didn't get in the ring. He jumped up on the apron of the ring during Jericho's thing with MJF. I'm pretty sure, because Jericho's the next best thing they've got to a star there. And he wanted to get on television. And then the next day, he tweeted, yeah, Jim Cornette, Brian Last, I did it for you, because he knows that we have all these fucking listeners, and he's trying to get, okay, now they'll praise me. He's an attention seeker.
And for the record, because we were recording the show when all of this happened.
Yeah.
Once we were done, what did we do? We both immediately denounced the guy and told him he's an idiot and blocked him.
Well, you denounced him. I cussed him out.
Yeah. That's true.
Yours was just a simple denouncement. Mine was more extenuous. But the point is, since he cuts promos on this guy on the internet for attention who's a star, and he jumps up on the apron of the ring or tries to get in the ring on Jericho who's a star, and he fucking tweets, see, I did it for you guys because we're stars. He's an attention-seeking fuckwit who thinks he's somebody. But the way apparently that we trended, he wasn't trending when he was talking about Cody. Nobody trended when they told him he was a piece of shit. I trended because fucking Twinkle Toes, and to a lesser extent, I guess, Matt Hardy. I may have blocked him or he may have blocked me. I don't know. I don't think I saw his shit. And then, of course, Matt's perpetually pregnant wife on Twitter tried to blame me for it. Well, Cornette instigated him to do it. And even Jericho had tweeted, you fucked, in response to him saying he did it for us, you fucking idiot. Cornette would have shoved his tennis racket up your ass and broke all the windows out of your car. Because he knows me. But these other fucking dimwits say, oh, Cornette instigated this type of attempted violence, attempted fame mongering. And we're going to talk about this here fairly extensively on the program, the history of people jumping in the ring or getting involved and why and how it's changed, and security, because there's apparently some things they need to know about security now that I can give them some fucking helpful hints on, since I've been through it from a different side. But this guy's fame mongering. And so they, on Twitter, want to blame me for instigating this. And that's where I had the fucking little joust with Twinkle Toes, because he wouldn't even name me. He just, well, it's time to tone down the online persona, because he's such a phony. He thinks everybody else is too.
And then he insulted the listeners.
But I was about to say, but then he said, and his low IQ followers. I'm sorry, but our fans are not the ones that are watching a program written for kids by kids. And even if you have a problem with what I say, if you have a difference of opinion with whether I think you suck or not, I guess that's natural. But don't say that people that listen to this show have low IQs just because you're used to seeing people like that at your programs. So I had to fucking say a few things to him. But that's how fanatical, they put the fanatic in fan, that's how fanatical that these fucking AEW apologists, I won't even say the fans, I don't even think most of their fans are this bad, just the hardcore AEW apologists on Twitter and that just can't see any wrong, possibly that worship at the altar of Uncle Dave. They picked it up and decided that it was my fault and made me trend on Twitter for once again something I didn't say, I didn't do, I wasn't there, I've never met this fucking guy, and he didn't mention my name till after he did it. So I just wish you guys would stop, for one thing, because JimCornette.com is still under construction, the new site, and Cornette's Collectibles is not on sale, and every time I trend on Twitter without having shit on sale, it costs me a fortune. So please hold your trending until the upcoming announcement of when we go open back up again. But anyway, the one thing that now that has come to light of the news of the past day, now that I'm back online, that made it just incredibly hilarious that Rebby Hardy had to jump in on this was the fact that apparently she was tweeting mad at me from her bed of labor. She has just given birth, but 3 days ago, she was tweeting. And I can't even remember what do you have her tweets, or at least the tweet that instigated the whole thing where she blamed me, or have you even looked for that stuff?
I haven't really looked for it.
Okay, well, basically, I don't care, but basically, she said something to the effect of, well, Jim Cornette needs to fucking shut up or whatever. And because I used to have a ton of respect for the talent that her husband used to display on a regular basis, I have not told her nearly any of the things that's wrong with her, and I try to be polite. So I just tweeted back, I know you've probably heard this thousands of times in your life, but it applies here. Was anybody fucking talking to you? And then she comes back with a tirade. It looked like a 14-year-old teenage girl with, LMFAO, like you use me for clickbait, my name and image thousands of times, and yet nobody's asking you because nobody's talking to you, but you're still talking LMAO in capitals. What the fuck? And so apparently we have infringed on Rebby Hardy, and that's why she's upset, because we constantly talk about her and use her for clickbait on our wildly popular YouTube videos, which constantly feature Rebby Hardy. I wish that somebody could just go back and look. Somebody involved with our YouTube channel could just go back and look and see how many of our highly rated and wildly popular YouTube videos have centered around Rebby Hardy. I wish somebody could do that.
Okay, I'm going to look. I'm going to go back to the first video that mentions Hardy. There are no videos that actually mention the word Rebby in the title. So I couldn't search for Rebby. I could search for Hardy because she's married to someone famous.
Yes. We are on the subject of fame seekers here. So
that's right. Here's you on the future of Matt Hardy, you reviewing some of his early AEW stuff that you didn't like. None of these images, by the way, the fantastic work of Travis Heckel, check it out, the official Jim Cornette YouTube channel. None of these images that I've seen so far have featured any depiction, characterization, nothing of Rebby Hardy. Here's one. This was after she got mad because we talked about the email we got that was about her behavior on the set of whatever bad cinematic match Matt was having.
Yeah, well, and let's clarify that. We got an email from a fan who knew somebody that had worked on the crew when they shot a cinematic match at the Hardy compound. And in the process of this like page and a half email documenting the things that had gone on there and the observations that were made,
which were correct, by the way.
Which were correct. It was mentioned that everybody was told, don't park next to Rebby Hardy's car. And then we kind of made fun of the fact that at the end of this thing, for whatever reason that was not explained then and remains inexplicable to this day, she was playing the piano in a barn in the final scene. And that was pretty much the conversation that was centered around Rebby Hardy. To my recollection, is this correct?
That is correct. So the clip for the original conversation about the email we received, that went up November 10th. The response after her reaction was on November 14th. This appears to be the only video I could find that we have her image in the background playing the piano while Matt's making a dumb face in the front. The name of the video is Jim Cornette on Matt Hardy and his wife being upset with Jim's review of Elite Deletion. We have never used her name in any clickbait, and this is the only use of her image, and it is so far in the back that no one would notice it in a thumbnail. So,
but here's it. I'm not going to tell Rebby Hardy all the things that's wrong with her, because now she's a brand new mother. But that's the fucking thing is that 3 days ago, she was accusing me, I guess, of being at the grassy knoll, along with being responsible for this guy jumping in the ring on Twitter, and got, from what I saw, I know I've probably got the block record. I blocked a lot of people that probably would have an opposing view, but she got quite a bit of feedback telling her to mind her own beeswax as well, and not as polite terms as I used. And then she's giving birth to, and Matt's 3 days ago, he's an expectant father. She's about to give birth, and he's on Twitter, I guess. As I mentioned, I didn't see his equating me, well, this horrible violence and despicable conduct. I just want to say it before we get into the real problem here. If somebody can find a clip of mine where I encouraged people to go to their shows, jump in the ring, and take matters into your own hands and beat somebody up, then I would be more than happy to sit down and listen to that clip, because I don't remember saying it. Now, I will say, Brian, I will go on record here, and people feel free, wrestling news sites, take this clip or take this transcript. I will admit full culpability and apologize publicly to anyone that's involved if some fan goes to an AEW show and hits the ring carrying a giant cauldron full of boiling oil and a machine or apparatus capable of rendering said boiled oil and humans into fat to sell for soap. If they try to do that to anybody, I will apologize, because that's my fault. But otherwise, I believe my hands are clean. Because
I sincerely hope no one brings a wood chipper to the ring, or I'm screwed.
Yeah, and Brian will apologize for wood chippers. But no, I've never said anybody should get in the ring. As a matter of fact, I've said half the AEW roster don't belong in the ring. I believe that's been my point. Not only do you fans out there not belong in the ring, but most of them don't either. Point is, they're all too fucking slack, Brian. Now they've all convinced themselves there's no heat anymore. Nobody's going to try to do anything. Everybody's with it. Well, now I think, you've got a lot of screwy people in the world. The very reason why everybody's with it and nobody's mad and it's all a fucking show and nobody takes this seriously is exactly what might entice these people to just fucking try to get on television. They think nothing's going to happen to them. They think that they can whip the guys in the ring, or they're all working and we're all friends or whatever. Or they don't see police around. They just, some fucking schlub in a t-shirt that says security, and you recognize him as the job guy from YouTube. It used to be an intimidating thing as a fan to come in and see that fucking ring in front of a big arena full of people and the guys in it under the lights. Most people, unless they got drunk off their ass, didn't want to have anything to do with that. And I've seen guys jump in the ring convinced they were going to whip somebody and stand up and look around and fucking freeze. Like, what the fuck have I done? And then they're toast. Terry Funk used to rip their pants off. His father taught him that. He said, guy jumps in the ring no matter how mad he is. If you just grab him, that's how he did me on TV. They do the fuck in Memphis that time. I didn't know it, but they do the marks like that. Grab the fucking back pockets and pull down. And you pants that motherfucker, and he's standing there either in his shorts or with his dingleberry hanging out in front of 5,000 people. He's done. But anyway, that's, it used to be an intimidating thing. There used to be a lot of cops around, security. The guys looked like they'd kick the shit out of you. There was no reason, no motivation except anger to try that. But now it's just, what the fuck? Everybody's just jacking around. I think they're not, if they're not taking it seriously on camera, I'm thinking the people off camera are taking it less seriously. Just think, we can all do this. That's dangerous. What do you think?
I think this was a lone nut. I think this was someone who, like you said, was seeking attention. Someone who got the attention briefly that he wanted. Probably someone that needs to talk to somebody and seek some help, quite frankly. But to the overall thing, it's a lone nut. I don't expect we'll see too much more of this, but it'll happen, especially as alcohol starts getting reintroduced into the picture. It'll happen every now and then. In WCW, we saw people trying to get to the ring just to celebrate being there. So you never know. But like I said, when it comes to this and the blaming, most people got it right away. Give Chris Jericho credit. He got it right away. Quite frankly, I can't think of another wrestling personality ever who has endorsed the idea of beating fans who jump the rail more than you. Who else ever? So I think it's all ridiculous, and I think, sometimes with some people, like...
And here's the thing, though. That's what I was going to say, is that everybody just got mortified about this guy, because what in the world was he going to do? Like, he didn't have a machete. He's a fat schlub that was unarmed and couldn't get past Justin Roberts. Bless Justin for being a large man, but like you mentioned, it's not the size of the dog in the fight. Brian Hildebrand took some of these guys down, too, and fucking showed them their own asshole. But he's trying to get attention, try to be part of the show, jumps up on the apron, gets goozled by the ring announcer, and everybody was acting like, my God, the Jericho and MJF escaped death at the hands of this homicidal maniac, just because they've not, in the modern era, seen shit like this. And I hate to tell them, I would love to transport them back and show them a few things that they would have goddamn shit themselves about that used to happen. And we go, oh, that happened again. You go on. But the thing is, the companies, and I'll say this again, and then you can follow up whatever you want to say. Everybody has gotten lax and complacent on security. Because, even the last several years I worked shows, just here and there, whether I was a babyface or a heel or whatever, I stopped even paying any attention, which, was just because nothing was ever going to happen, but you never know. But I stopped paying attention. And boy, I used to have a real good spidey sense about anybody that was close to me. So I think everybody's got complacent, and they need to put security there that looks like security. They need to make an announcement beforehand that obviously anyone crossing the barricade or the railing or whatever obstruction they have put up will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And they need to have somebody keeping an eye on this again, because I'm not saying people are going to come in the ring and try to commit murder, but there's a lot of stupid people that may just want to be part of the show. So I start acting like a goddamn wrestling event again instead of a fucking playground, and get some security. And what were you finish what you were going to say? I apologize. I'm just all fired up.
That's quite all right. A couple things I want to say, but one, because Omega kind of restarted it after it had started dying down, after you had denounced him, I denounced him, Jericho denounced him. Everyone seemed to be on the same page, this guy's a clown looking for attention. And then Omega had to certainly, in his way, point people to you again. And I think, there's a hypocrisy because, for the most part, most of the people we hear from, I shouldn't say most, but a lot, because I haven't checked, but we hear from a lot of people, I love AEW and I love Jim Cornette. I like AEW and I like to listen to Jim Cornette. There's an audience that can appreciate both. There is certainly an audience that is, I love Jim Cornette, I don't like AEW, and there's even a small audience that is, I am worshiping Jim Cornette, I despise AEW. And it's the same on the other side.
Let's be fair, there's even 4 or 5 that love AEW and don't like me.
And there's the same on the other side. And when Kenny puts out a tweet like that, all he's doing is riling people up. And when you talk about fans doing crazy things, first of all, you came out and you insulted the fans. I will happily say, because I'm the one who monitored it, that some of you may remember participating in a survey a while back, and very happy to announce that the Jim Cornette Experience and Jim Cornette's Drive-Thru actually has a very large audience, educated, well-educated, high-earning, smart people, Kenny. As smart as AEW's audience, but he decided he was going to attack all of our audience, and I just think it's a disservice when they want to come at you for
when we were
things.
all doing the Kumbaya thing, and even people were even tweeting, well, at least they can all come together over saying, fuck this guy, right? And then fucking Harpo's got to stir shit.
Well, it's like I tweeted out, look at this clown clutching his pearls, because that's what it is. He chooses what to be offended at. Matt Hardy chooses what to be offended at, and it just so happens to coincide with being offended at the one person who criticizes their bad in-ring emoting. That's my point. And there's a
And you have a good
there.
point there.
When the Young Bucks go out there and lie and say that Jim Cornette in his mid-50s wanted to go out on the road and work a program with the Young Bucks, I assume taking bumps. That's a lie. They know it's a lie, but it's part of their narrative. It's part of their story. Jim's their boogeyman. But when you lie like that, when Kenny goes out there and, again, he chooses who to be offended at, look who he's aligned with, and we'll talk maybe a little more later about people he's been aligned with in the past where he chose to look the other way. There's a hypocrisy there, and both audiences have crazy fans, and I would argue that AEW has more crazy fans than we do. Listen to how many people have been harassed by crazy AEW fans. Jim Ross, they were wishing Jim Ross would die.
Yes. Because he said WWE Dynamite. Oh, God, kill him, you horrible person. Oh.
So give me a break. Like I said in the tweet, quit clutching your pearls, Kenny.
Yeah, well, he's used to clutching round things, whether it be pearls or grapes or whatever.
But I was going to say, Jim, hypothetically, if you're out there, if you're listening, and you're getting the message wrong, if you haven't heard any of the lessons that Jim has said about jumping the rail, and you're still considering something stupid like that, perhaps you need someone to talk to.
I think that would help. I think that would not only be help, it would be better help. Folks, the folks at BetterHelp.com can help you if you are just sitting there stewing because you can't be a professional wrestler. And you can't be on national television because you're a fat bastard. Obviously, you need to talk to somebody. Or if you're a regular person that has regular problems, that may be more up their bailiwick there. But the folks at BetterHelp.com can help you achieve your goals. And if there's something interfering with your happiness, they can assess your needs and match you with a therapist that can start helping. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's professional counseling done securely online with a broad range of expertise, and you can log into your account anytime, worldwide, by the way. This is not geographically limited. And send a message to your counselor and get timely responses. You can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, no waiting rooms. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, and they make it easy to change counselors if you need. And it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling. The folks at BetterHelp want you to start living a happier life today. So go to the website and read the testimonials they post daily. When you visit BetterHelp, by the way, that's HELP, betterhelp.com/drive. and join the over 1 million people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional, you can get 10% off your first month's services. BetterHelp.com/drive, 10% off your first month's services at BetterHelp.com, by the way, /drive.